Hey everyone, it's Ash. I hope you guys have been doing well. It's been a minute since my last formal video, and it's gonna be a little longer as I'm busy with both work and preparing for Octobenny, which I plan on making a video on, so that's something to look forward to. Anyways, I asked earlier in the month if people would be okay with me making these sort of unedited, less formal videos where I just kind of ramble about a random topic with footage of a game in the background, and you guys seem to be fine with it, so if that's the case, then well, here it is. I recently finished reading Naruto about 10 days ago as of recording, and it's still relatively fresh in my mind. I don't have a script or anything, so I just want to talk about my raw, uncondensed thoughts about Naruto. So it kind of goes without saying that this video will have spoilers for the entirety of Naruto. Nothing on Boruto, because I don't want to do that. And yeah, with that out of the way, again, this is unscripted, it's gonna be not really that edited, but I hope you guys enjoy listening to me ramble about Naruto. So, right off the bat, of the quote-unquote big three of One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto, this was the last one that I read, as I grew up on One Piece, and I got into Bleach during the fall of 2021, and I finished that in about 2 months, give or take. By comparison with Naruto, I distinctly remember as a kid trying to watch episodes, and every time I watched an episode, I just thought to myself, man, I could be watching One Piece right now. And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up watching more One Piece instead. In terms of reading Naruto, I started reading it for real in August of 2022, and I only finished it the other week in September of 2023. And usually it does not take me this long to read manga, like at all. Like I mentioned earlier, I was able to read all of Bleach in about 2 to 3 months. Same thing goes for series like Berserk and Shaman King and Gash Bell. All of them took about 2 to 3 months each. Bleach and Naruto both had 700 chapters, yet it took like 6 times as long for me to get through Naruto. And I think Naruto had a really strong beginning. A lot of the early arcs were just fantastic. You had Land of Waves, you had Chunin exams, you had everything with Tsunade, you had Sasuke retrieval arc. I look back on early Naruto really fondly. I really enjoyed a lot of the characters introduced. I thought the ninjutsu and all that stuff was really cool, the chakra system was really unique, and Naruto's relationship with Kurama was really interesting to see develop throughout the series. It was more so in later Shippuden where Kurama and Naruto became homies, but it was really cool seeing the back and forth in the beginning of the series. Sakura had like 2 moments, if I remember. One of them was when she cut off her hair when she was fighting Ino, I believe, or Shino, I can't remember her name. I forget the other moment, but I think she had 2. But early pre-Shippuden Naruto can best be described as the relationship between Naruto, the village of Konoha, and also Sasuke as well. I think Naruto is a great protagonist. He is everything a shonen protagonist should be, in my opinion. Despite being born with the odds against him and pretty much being looked down upon by everyone in the village, he sees solace in Master Iruka, who is one of my favorite characters, and Naruto is able to just be a optimistic ball of energy. I love how so many villains in Naruto just wax poetic at Naruto, like, hey, look, the world is garbage and mankind is destined to attack one another. And Naruto's argument without fail is always nuh-uh, and then the villain's just like, maybe you're right. Yeah, no, I'm not a believer in that thing that people always say where, like, Naruto has talk no jutsu. No. Cause, like, look, one of my favorite things about Naruto is a lot of the villains in the series that Naruto faces are reflections of Naruto in some way, shape, or form. Gaara, for example, is one of the earliest examples where him and Naruto are both like Jinchuriki, and in Naruto's case, he had a father figure in the case of Master Iruka, like I mentioned earlier. In the case of Gaara, however, he didn't really have anyone to guide him or like control his anger. And I really like how the series makes it deliberate to point out that, hey, had Naruto not had Master Iruka or like any form of guidance, there was nothing stopping him from turning into Gaara. And that could honestly be applied to characters like Pain or like even Obito. Obito/Toby/ whatever the hell. He is the most prominent example, I feel, of this because of the fact that like him, Kakashi, and the girl whose name I forget, were pretty much Squad 7 all over again. I looked her name up, it's Rin, my fault. But yeah, Kakashi, Obito, and Rin were basically Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura. And Obito, in terms of personality and even appearance, was meant to be pretty much a mirror of Naruto. So when I see people make fun of the fact that, oh, Naruto taught no jutsu to Obito, it's like, well, I mean, he kinda saw where he was coming from because he could pretty much see himself in Obito, so I found it believable when I read it. You can see it as cheap or like power of friendship or whatever, but I find it nice. I find it nice that Naruto has like his way of dealing with things and he does it time and time again. Of course, he can't really do that with Madara, but you know, it's fine. There's some things that I don't like about Naruto's character, specifically the thing towards the end where Kaguya is just like, oh, Naruto and Sasuke, you two are descendants of my children and all that stuff, and it's like, oh bro, shut up. I'll get to Kaguya later, but it's like, I don't think it undermines Naruto's journey, because a lot of Naruto's techniques and pretty much everything he does comes from his training over the years due to, you know, learning from scrolls or like his own experiences, learning under those toads and like Master Jiraiya and everyone. He had to work to get to where he was, and it's really cool. It's a cool progression. I will say, towards the end, like from when he gets Sage Mode onwards, it feels like he evolves and gets more stronger, like really quickly during that period, but by that point, like Shippuden has like 150, like 200 chapters left, so whatever. That portion of Great Ninja War, I feel, was what kept me from finishing Naruto for so long. I was just stuck in like chapter 450 to like 600 for the longest time. I'm talking a few months. I was so bored, I was so tired of everything going on, but I just forced myself in early September to just finish this damn series, and I'm glad I did. I'm genuinely glad I did. Specifically, the part I remember when things started to pick up for me was when Itachi was reanimated due to the Edo Tensei. And that whole thing, you know, from Itachi being reanimated to like the previous Hokage and all that stuff, that was really good. I'm jumping around back and forth because, again, I don't have a script, so it's not really coherent. I'm trying to keep things kind of coherent in terms of like how they happen in the story, but I just went from talking about pre-Shippuden to just the end of the series, so I apologize for that. Man, that's another thing that really surprised me. How much of Naruto was like Shippuden, you know? That's something I never knew growing up, and now that like I'm an adult, I'm like, well, that's kind of crazy. Cause like Shippuden starts on chapter 245, and the manga is 700 chapters. So like 2/3 of the manga is Shippuden, which is something I did not expect. I expected to be like half of it. But yeah, Naruto is a good boy. He deserves all the happiness in the world. I'm glad he became Hokage. Good for him. I really wish he dated Sasuke in the end, who I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but I want to go on a tangent first and foremost. So a lot of people always comment on Kishimoto and how he writes women. I get it. I agree. But it's very fascinating. It's very fascinating not just how Kishimoto cannot write women, but also how he writes them. So in early chapters of Naruto, in the scans I was reading, I believe there were like scans of the official English translation, and they included all the little author's notes between, you know, chapters and at the end of volumes and all that stuff. And Kishimoto likes to talk about his own childhood, his mom, and his brother a lot. After Shippuden, you really don't get these author's notes as often, which is really sad to me because I really loved reading them. But I brought it up because I always noticed he loved talking about his mom. And he would always, you know, say his mom was like strict and loving and all that stuff, you know, where she would yell at him, but it's because she loved and cared about him. And I also remember reading about how he has a wife, Kishimoto, and how he had to put off his honeymoon for like 8 years because he was so busy with Naruto. And that made me realize that Kishimoto just only really sees women in one of two camps in how they are depicted in Naruto. In one camp, they are a love interest, and in the other camp, they are a motherly figure, and more times than not, they are also both. Like Sakura, for instance. They try to give her moments throughout the series, but Tsunade is literally what Sakura should have been, and even then, Tsunade isn't the best, but she is the best written woman in Naruto in my opinion. She has motherly traits in how she treats Naruto, and also that love interest thing going on with her dead lover. Hinata, I remember specifically her getting mollywopped by Pain, which made me laugh so hard. She is just a love interest, that's all there is to her for the most part. There's that one girl, Shino or Ino. I should probably look up her name. Okay, yeah. Good thing I looked that up because Shino is the bug boy and Ino is the woman. Okay, my fault. Yeah, Ino was just a love interest to Sasuke. That's about it. She got a couple of cool things with Shikamaru and Choji, but that's really about it. There's Kaguya, who is a surprise big bad at the end of the series, and she is just another motherly figure. Ooh. There's Karin, who is genuinely one of the worst characters ever written in fiction, and she just loves Sasuke. There's Naruto's mom, whose name escapes me right now, and she is a mother figure. Wow, the mom's a mother figure. Woohoo. There's Tenten. I forgot she existed for a long time, if I'm being honest. There's the Mizukage. I remember during like her Edo Tensei, she imagined herself getting married or like something. And it just kind of goes on where pretty much all the women in Naruto just fall into the camp of love interest, mom figure, or both. I don't think Kishimoto hates women. I just think he has a very, very like general understanding of women, and as such, he just can't seem to write them. Really, if you want like my writing advice on how to write a female character, just write a character, that's it. Like, if they're a guy, girl, anything in between, beyond, that's fine. But, like, you don't have to worry about any of that. But also, I don't think Kishimoto is gonna be watching this video and being like, you know, you got some good points. Like, he's not gonna do any of that. But, yeah, there's nothing really I can add on to Sakura discussion that has not already been said. One of my favorite moments in the series is when she's trying to run up to Madara because she's tired of looking at Naruto and Sasuke's backs, and then she's impaled and tossed to the side. She gets like one cool punch with Kaguya at the end, and that's really about it. But man, Sasuke. Am I right, fellas? I'm not qualified to talk about Sasuke. My friend Tyler is very qualified to talk about Sasuke. I think Sasuke is a very, very interesting and fundamental character. He laid the foundation of like rival characters slash brother characters in manga, not just in shonen, but just like in the medium as a whole. To the point where like Sasuke is just used as an adjective to describe like a certain brooding, mysterious character archetype. He's a very funny and interesting character to watch, and it's also really funny how every time he loses, it happens to be someone with brown skin. What did Kishimoto mean by that? On a side tangent to that side tangent, Kishimoto is really good at drawing characters that happen to have dark skin. He draws them respectfully, they have varied designs, they all look pretty cool. Killer Bee and Darui come to mind, and they rock. Anyways, yeah, Sasuke, not my favorite character, but he is interesting, and it was interesting to see what he was up to throughout the series. I loved during Sasuke Retrieval Arc, his fight with Naruto was so good. I know it's like the most cliche opinion to have, especially since the fight with him at the end of the series is also fantastic. I just love the bond these two share. And I think if Kishimoto allowed Sasuke to date Naruto, this series would have been an actual 10 out of 10. But instead, Sasuke gets with Sakura, the woman that he's repeatedly called useless, and it's really funny, but what can you do? I'm also a huge fan of the series ending, with Sasuke just saying, yeah, my bad, in terms of everything that he did over the course of the series. But speaking of Sasuke, one of my favorite characters in the entire series had to be his brother Itachi. I love Itachi, he's one of the best. I love his personality, I loved his powers, his design is iconic. There's an entire song about him, he is the best. His relationship with Sasuke never really failed to bring a tear to my eye. It was so good, it was so well done. Kishimoto really did a fantastic job creating like a lovable character, having him die a believable death, having him have such a large impact on not just Sasuke, but also Naruto. I thought that was really sweet. I didn't expect that connection between Itachi and Naruto to be so prominent, but I really enjoyed how they handled that throughout this series. Him coming back during the Edo Tensei was also great, because it helped just pretty much tell Sasuke like, hey man, this is why I actually did all that stuff. And I really liked Konoha. Konoha, I think it could be described as a character as well because of what it stood for. Being the town, or village rather, founded by Hashirama and Madara, this village pretty much stood as like a, how do I put it? It was like a monument basically. It was like trying to show that, look, ninja life does not have to be child soldiers and child warfare and like needless bloodshed. It could be people living peacefully and learning how to live and teaching kids to be kids and all that stuff. I love that. I genuinely did not expect that. Hashirama was one of my favorite characters. His little brother Tobirama is one of the funniest characters to ever be written in any media. He is just, I can't believe they really just made a character that would just put the Uchiha on the corner of Konoha, and then also like building fences and police camps and making sure that like the Uchiha was both being arrested constantly and also being employed as the cops, and they would go around arresting people to make everyone hate them. It's just so funny because like Hashirama is so anti-racist and normal, and then Tobirama is just so bigoted and always just saying these horrible things to Sasuke. It is the best. Minato was great too. On the topic of Hokage, Naruto's dad, I mean, he could have been Sasuke's father-in-law if, Kishimoto wasn't a hack, but Minato was a really good character too. I liked Minato a lot. Aside from Master Iruka and Minato and Hashirama, loved Itachi. I liked Madara before he transformed with Obito, honestly. His relationship with Hashirama was great. I genuinely loved the relationship between the two, and it was really compelling. It's what drove me to continue reading True Ninja War. But when that stuff happened with here's Madara's manifestation of will, and it turns out to be a double agent for Kaguya, I'm like, alright buddy, okay. Yeah, hot take, I don't like Kaguya. Yeah, I don't think anyone did, to be honest. It kind of goes without saying. But yeah, no, Kaguya in general, just very weak villain. No reason to show up right at the end of the series. Really unfortunate as to just why did they even bother doing that. I think, people have said it's because Kishimoto wrote himself into a corner when he made Madara too powerful or something. Some people say it's like an editor decision. We'll never know. We'll never know the full extent of why exactly Naruto ended the way it did. But I am glad that it was able to end with a fight between Naruto and Sasuke, even though if I found the reasoning to be a little weird as to why Sasuke wanted to fight in the first place. After my friend Tyler talked to me about it, I'm like, okay, you know what, I can kind of see where Sasuke was coming from. Is he still insane? I mean, yeah, sure, but it's fine, whatever. Trying to think of other standout moments in Naruto. Let's see. I think favorite arc was Pain, the way it started, the way it ended, everything in between, the way the fights were handled. Least favorite would probably have to go to Great Ninja War, honestly, because of the fact that it took so long for it to go anywhere, and it genuinely felt like I was reading through a tar pit at times. It's funny that I actually read Kishimoto's other manga before I read Naruto. His other manga being one called Samurai 8. It was published in Jump for a few weeks before getting cancelled. It wasn't very good, to be honest. It started out kind of interesting, but then just kind of devolved. And, well, what can you do, Kishimoto? I know he's working on Boruto with one of his assistants, so I hope that goes well for him, because I don't think I'm going to read Boruto. I am more than satisfied with Naruto. I have all of the Ninja Storm games on my PS5. I haven't really played too much of them. I've heard that Naruto vs Sasuke fight at the end of 4 is the best interpretation of that fight. Speaking of, the Obito vs Kakashi fight as it's done in the anime is legendary. That's one of the first things I remember seeing from the anime as a teenager. As a kid, I don't think that scene was even a thing, but that's something I distinctly remember watching as a teen. Man, speaking of, Kishimoto genuinely deserves to have, he deserves praise for how he paneled Naruto. Because for as much as I love One Piece and I love Oda, you have to admit that stuff during Wano became, a genuine mess trying to decipher what exactly am I looking at with, all the characters on screen, the way the spreads are set up, having characters react to what's going on screen at the same time. It's crazy. It was bonkers. But I never felt that in its entire run of Naruto. Through all 700 chapters, did I not, understand the action that was going on screen. It was never, too difficult to understand or follow, and I have to give Kishimoto major props for that. I distinctly remember early chapters having an author note where he's like, man, I really wish that I could adapt how films and TV shows are choreographed in the cinematography in a manga form. And that reminds me of our boy Fujimoto, how he loves adapting filmmaking techniques into manga panels. So seeing that like mangaka like Kishimoto were trying to do this back in the late 90s / early 2000s is great, because it shows that like these authors were always trying to push the boundaries of what's possible in a drawn, illustrated medium. It's sick, dude. It's really sick. I really do miss Kishimoto's author's notes, because like I mentioned, they became a lot less frequent, to the point where like they did not happen in between chapters during Shippuden. He had so many stories about like his assistants like keeling over and like passing out during work, or like just so many different memories of working on Naruto, trying to meet deadlines, pranking one another, and it felt like there was a genuine camaraderie and like just soulfulness to early Naruto. And that soul is still present in Shippuden and later parts, but I genuinely do think that pre-Shippuden Naruto was my favorite portion. And while Pain might have been one of my favorite arcs, I still think stuff like Sasuke Retrieval arc is just legendary, dude. Genuinely legendary. One unfortunate thing with Naruto, and I think this kind of goes with any series that has such a large amount of chapters, is you have so many interesting and fun side characters, and they don't always get the most time to shine. One example that comes to mind is Sai. He replaced Sasuke during early Shippuden as a member of Team 7. He kind of got some stuff with his brother, who I think died, but really not too much else. Like during Great Ninja War, he was pretty much all but forgotten. He showed up a few times, but that's about it. Speaking of dead brothers, Neji dying in Great Ninja War was actually insane. I don't know why Kishimoto did that. I've heard from my friends that that's like the one thing Kishimoto regrets, was just killing Neji during Great Ninja War, and that's something I could totally see, because I know that like Naruto doesn't have like the highest causality rate compared to like Chainsaw Boy or like Jujutsu or like all that stuff, but man, not that many people die in this one. I mean, it's fine, you don't need to have characters dying left and right to tell like a suspenseful or like gripping story, like that's totally fine. But I also think needlessly killing off a character is like, come on now. Even my goats like Gege Akutami, yeah, they're no stranger to that, and there's a lot of things in that freaking Jujutsu that have me scratching my head, like, why did you do that? But that's neither here or there. Look, Naruto, I really enjoyed my time with, and I do not regret reading. I don't think doing like a 20-something minute video is enough to condense these thoughts of a 700 chapter series spanning multiple anime and movies and video games and all that stuff. But it's how I'm feeling in this moment. I could always come back to this and add on with additional thoughts, but I just want to make a video within the close proximity of me finishing Naruto after my thoughts have all but settled, and try to figure out how I stand on this series. It definitely could have been trimmed a little bit. It's really funny how Kishimoto kept saying we're in the final stretch for like the past like 200 chapters. I think it might have been like, you know, the series being too popular, or like his editors telling him otherwise to keep this stuff alive. But I mean, what can you do, genuinely? You're at the mercy of Shonen Jump. But at the end of the day, I do not regret reading Naruto, but I think it was my least favorite of the big three. One Piece is simply in its own tier, and I really loved Bleach. Genuinely, despite how many people will try to talk about Bleach being style over substance, I don't care. I had so much fun. I had an absolute blast. It was nothing but a banger to me. But when I say Naruto's in last place, that does not mean it's bad. I think it's a really enjoyable read, and it's good to look back at one of the founding fathers of modern day shonen, in my opinion. All in all, I'm feeling a strong 7 out of 10 for Naruto, closer to an 8 than a 6. I don't know why I'm trying to rate this like Fantano, because to be honest, I don't really think applying ratings to this sort of thing does it any justice, because there is a lot more to a series than the number. So I don't even know why I said that, but you know what, that's how I'm feeling. If you care about numbers, that's how I feel about Naruto. It was a great time. I don't think I'm gonna do that again. I might reread One Piece, but that's besides the point. I'm rereading Shibuya Incident right now. I'm also reading Heavenly Delusion. It's a really good one if you haven't checked it out. It had a really good anime adaptation, so I'm just reading the manga now. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble for like 25 minutes on Naruto. I'm going to thank my patrons and close this video out. Thank you to Whole Horse, Dominos, Arachne S2, Folkpunk, Megito9, Sunmene, Sarakanol, Big Boot Goddamn, Polaroid Jack, Sour Lolita, Borpolis Vunny, Real Settery, Loose, Vento, Sea Crowns, Kiwi Kiwi, V, Andrew, Braystar, Amateramasu, Logan, Cianaru, and Jiva. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble on and on. I really hope I can have an actual video out sometime in the near future, but if not, I hope you guys are okay with these rambling types of videos. I love you all, and I'll see you guys next time where I talk about probably more manga. I have a couple of videos drafted up, so here's hoping that I can record and edit them in time. I'll see you guys next time.